We're back, Suncoast MPI TV. I'm John Marshall. I'm the owner of Suncoast MPI. And as I said earlier, the hashtag free meals, it blew up our chapters last week because people were really leaning in and listening to what was said and really wanted to get a taste of it. But, I say that's one of the reasons it blew up, but really the main reason it blew up is because this gentleman sitting next to me, Bobby Paolini, is back for another week because people said we need more Bobby Paolini.
Thank you, John.
So, Bobby, I know, last week we talked about a lot of different things, and this week we kind of wanted to dial it in and drill in and be a little bit more focused. So Tell us, Bobby, so who are we actually going to be talking to today?
Today I want to talk about, real estate agents, brokers, or any sales professional where you are 100% responsible for acquiring your own client.
Perfect. So I want to kind of get into this problem area. So what to expect in the shifting market or common fears?
Common fears for agents and sales professionals would be just business going away, just what you were doing not working anymore. And the slight truth to that is that part is true, but you don't have to do the same thing you've always done. You change and adapt, and in the book we talk about identifying the now client. So
wait, in the book? Did you say something about a book?
I did.
Do we have?
I love books.
Do we have something on a book? Is this your book?
Yes, I love books so much I wrote one.
Oh man, we're going to get to this. So how about managing and then avoiding the income roller coaster effect of real estate?
Awesome. Well, that was huge. That was the biggest aha for me, so to speak, was that was my first biggest problem. I had great months, and all of you viewing out there, if you're in real estate or sales, you know how it is, feast or famine. And there had to be a better way for more consistency. And as we've talked about in the past, it's all about daily actions and habits. Yeah. And if you start with daily actions and habits, then you will get equal and consistent results for your efforts and avoid those pitfalls.
I think that's where we got the predictable and consistent results then, right? We got it?
Absolutely, all one and the same.
So we were, how about if you're finding it hard to build and sustain quality professional relationships?
That is a great question, and I'm glad you asked, because we know each other, we're here because we network. We're part of Network Professionals International. And yes, you could just door knock till you're blue in the face and shake hands with people and try to become their friend after they are upset with you, or you can reach out to other professionals who are trying to do the same thing in their industry and help themselves and their family and give. And when I say give, I also mean influence. And most people say give and influence. How does that work? Well, really, influence is not about manipulation or some flesh dominion. It's putting the interests of other people first. If I help you, I'm not going to do it so you can help me. That's offensive reciprocity. But as human beings, when we're helped, we want to give back. And that's really what attracts people to those in NPI who give, is because we give.
Yeah, sounds like having the servant's heart, huh?
That's how you do it. That's how you build relationships, and that's how you serve your client.
Amen to that. How about, are you talking to a lot of people but not converting the numbers you want?
That is a good question about a skill set. Conversion rates, just kind of the feedback, what you're getting. And I'll give you a simple anecdote. It could be as simple as the look on your face, right? One of my 10 goals of the day is to remember to smile at everyone. Smile, your body language, your attitude. You could be talking to somebody but dwelling on something negative and insignificant in your head, and you may not know they know, but they know. Yep. So that mindset helps, but just really starting from within is really going to come across to the other person, that there's that affinity, that connection.
I love it, man. I love it. So how about you?
Yes.
Who are you, Bobby? Who are you?
Who am I? If you're asking yourself the same question, glad you asked, who is this guy, bald hair with a head with a bow tie? I'm somebody that 5 years ago had never sold a home in his life. And now I lead an entire brokerage in sales, and I've never had to cold call, never will, don't want to, not just a realtor, also a homeowner, and I don't see that as a service. I see real estate sales as people service, and giving to them and serving them in their needs, even if it has nothing to do with real estate, is all that matters.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I had the privilege of knowing you for a while, man, and yeah, you're an inspiration. So I think we've already got people, we're already bringing them in. We can see the ratings going up. Should you waste your time listening to this?
Well,
do you think?
if you're like me and you would tell your wife or your spouse, next year, honey, next year, you tell your kids, you could do anything you want, you could be anything, you could have anything you want if you just believe and you work hard. And then you think to yourself, am I any of those things? Well, then you should do something about it. You shouldn't just do the same thing over. You shouldn't just say next year, tomorrow, because all we have is now.
That's right. And so I want to kind of drill into good talk, great sales, right? So what could happen? What could really happen to the individual or the masses? They apply the principles of your book. It's out like soon.
Yes, a couple months. It'll be totally ready to go, even in hard copy. But definitely you'll find it on Amazon. But what it's going to do is help with communication at any level to almost anyone, whether it be to a spouse, to a friend, to a child, to a coworker, to a boss, to an adversary, someone you're negotiating against on a professional level. If you're selling yourself, or we don't pitch in our business, we ask what their problem is and they ask us for the business. But if you are performing a pitch, it will give you that understanding, that fundamental understanding that people want to buy, they just don't want to be sold.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I can't wait.
In a nutshell, there's much more.
I can't wait to get my autographed copy.
Definitely.
I'm just saying.
We'll take a picture together.
Boom. So what do you see? What should you do? What should you do first, and what should you do next?
The first thing is decide whether you need change or you need improvement. And I personally believe, and for me anyways, it was a little bit of both. But technically, change is almost always required first. It's hard to catch yourself in your life where you're at the bottom of the bell curve, about to hit critical mass. There usually something has to change. You don't have to, ask, how to do everything. Right. You can also ask who. But really, to start making progress, you got to do two things. You have to remove your doubts and start finding answers to your questions.
Wow, that's awesome. So what do you think? Do we have a solution? What's the solution?
Yeah, the solution is basically not just coming, mentally through to yourself with the person you want to be, or making that change, but doing something about it, applying a daily habit or an action every single day. That's the key. Anything we do as humans just once or once in a while is really insignificant. I always say, if you're not going to tell yourself you'll do it for 50 years, don't do it at all, unless it's just something you have to do in that moment. But the things I'm talking about are just regular mundane tasks that trigger our body to keep us on the path that's in our mind. So if you start with the mind, you have the daily actions, and then surround yourself with good people, build relationships, the rest is history.
That's awesome. So we do have some more time. So you want to give some examples, some further examples into the book, or you want to kind of, how would you like to play it?
Just do you have any scenarios for me? Anything in there that I can?
Yeah, but sure. Decide if a change or improvement is needed. So what should come first? So if you have to make a decision if change or improvement is needed, or if both, which one should come first?
Well, definitely change, like I was saying, but you also want to know what you're up against. And you always have to identify your obstacles. And the one thing I will say on that is I've kind of made it sound easier than it is. It's not. It's really hard. It takes a lot of work.
Sure.
You want to talk yourself out of it every day. And the key is just being consistent and pushing through that pain. Because it's in the pain that we have the action that gives us the results. People think, pain and pleasure are the same. They're not. They're actually on different ends of the spectrum. If somebody thinks they're in pain and they're just miserable and they just look like they are,
right,
they might not even be in pain. They're just suffering. And suffering could be on many different levels. In my opinion, pain is required for growth. Suffering is optional. But suffering doesn't come from pain. It comes from the seeking of comfort. If you are trying to make easy choices, you'll have a tougher life. If you can force yourself to make difficult choices, then you'll have a great life.
That's awesome. What kind of gave you the inspiration to dive in here? I mean, we talked about, write a book. What was the power that pushed you over the top, Bobby, on this?
It was seeing the principles from the book work and feeling just compelled to share it. Seeing how, what they changed me inside. It wasn't just my results. I mean, yes, we had record-breaking sales and more money than I could have ever dreamt of making, but I mean, I don't even know what that dollar amount is, but I remember the look on all the clients' faces. I remember the sound of their voice at the closing. I remember the tears in their eyes, and doing things for the right why will give you or help you avoid any how.
You get me fired up every single time I'm with you. We got about a minute
You're
or so
awesome.
just to kind of bring this thing down to close out our fourth segment today. How about a piece of like inspirational quote, motivational things that get you kind of going?
Man, there's so many quotes to choose from, and I think I've already said a few of them. And the one that still sticks in my head that I can't get out because it's more than a quote. It's not a cliche, and I said it last week, but I feel like I should say it again because I want it to resonate. You can have all the skill in the world. You can be just the most amazing person at what you do. You could just love to sell. You could love to cold call. You could be, just the perfect salesperson. But we're either in a problem, headed towards a problem, or coming out of a problem. And it's how we handle the bad days that matter. So like Oprah Winfrey said, really, in the end, it's still the only thing that matters is the way we treat ourselves and the way we treat others. That's how we are defined. So you can have the worst day ever, but if you can overcome those bad days with a positive attitude because your mindset is locked on where you want to go, then you'll be able to achieve at a super high level in any industry, but do it by serving others exponentially. So you go home with a smile on your face. You don't go home tired and beat and run down, which, by the way, work-life balance is one of the #1 chapters in the whole book, which would also speak to that, to where you can go home and let it all go and be 100% present with your family and still have the energy to enjoy life and remember why you're going to get up really early in the morning the next day and start again.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. So that's Bobby Paolini, and Good Talk, Great Sales coming to you. John Marshall, Suncoast NPI. We're bringing TV to you, only network and organization around doing it. We'll see you next week. Suncoast NPI, when we pull together,
we all win.
peace out, brother. You're the man.
Thank you.